Alright, we are now on the flag plot of the USS Yorktown. We can take a look at the map here and there we go. Here's our little plan. We've got scouts now that have departed and they are going to head out. Let's see here. I won't show the waypoints, darn. There we go, that's better. Alright, so we've got scouts that are going to head out, 3 of them going this way, kind of covering a big fan of this estimated circle of where we think the Japanese should be. You can see here we've got Task Force 16 behind us. They have 2 carriers, so they've got Enterprise and Hornet. Enterprise is the flagship. So they've got a total of 145 aircraft. We're up in Task Force 17 at the moment, up ahead, and we've got 71 total aircraft. The idea is that we need to attack first, and I'm willing to get Task Force 17's aircraft on target and not wait for Task Force 16 if we can help it. At the moment, we got Midway down here, a little blip here. And they've sent out their Catalina aircraft. Pull them up. So they've got quite a few Catalina aircraft going this way. And so coupled with our 3 search aircraft, I'm hoping that we find the Japanese pretty quickly. Of course, the Japanese are probably on their way to attack Midway. So they'll be distracted a little bit. And if we can get a devastating first attack on a carrier or a couple carriers, that would be great. And yeah, we'll pick this up when it's about time to, well, whenever we get something, because we've got our search planes going and Midway search planes going, and hopefully they uncover something. The time is now 4:46, so I would estimate within an hour or 2 hours, maybe we'll grab something to attack. Alright, well, it didn't take very long. If we take a look here, we've got some reports that are coming from some of these scouts saying that unidentified surface force was out there, and then eventually it came into a carrier force. So we are going to take a look at the map and deal with this. There's a lot of things that have to happen pretty quickly here. If we look at the bases, we can see Midway is responding pretty quickly. We've got bombers getting ready to take off. Let's see if we can catch them. There we go. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. You can see the seaplane base over there and the fighters and the torpedo bombers and, of course, the amazing B-17s. Wow. So it looks like they've got 20 B-17s that are sortying. This is absolutely nuts. Wow. Just incredible. And that is something that we need to go ahead and take care of. So let's get back to the job at hand. We want to do a strike from Yorktown. So at the moment I don't have any cap going, and the reason for that is I want to launch the naval strike first and then get the cap going, because if you put up too much cap between your strikes, what's going to happen is spotting will be very difficult, and because the caps, depending on how you do them, they'll be too short in duration, basically enough to spot a massive strike. So we're going to go ahead and take care of this first. Alright, we got 17 there, 14 there. This guy is the target. Let's see. Alright. I suspect these torpedo bombers, yeah, don't have the range for it. So we're not going to worry about using the torpedo bombers. We want to get bombs over here as quick as possible. We'll go ahead and double check. Task Force 16 can launch dive bombers as well. Give these guys some escorts, so it's like 5 fighters. And we'll have to, yeah, that'll leave us with 20 for defense of the carrier. I don't think that we've been spotted. We didn't get any indication that we were, so we are in the clear at the moment, so we need to take advantage of that. So let's do early spotting, deferred departure, offensive power. All right, so 5:48, so in 28 minutes we can launch an attack, and that is something I'm very happy with. So let's go ahead and greenlight this. We've got 62 100-pound bombs and 31 1,000-pound bombs on the way. All right. Well, it's 5:52, and Hornet and Enterprise are ready to go, so we'll set them for takeoff. Let's take a look here. I believe that's, yeah, well, look at that, jeez. Man, this is just so cool. You know what, I say we go up to the upper deck here in the island, take a look. Alright, so they're going to turn into the wind. They're going to launch, what is it, I think 10 fighter planes. And then all our dive bombers. We'll do the torpedo bombers on a follow-up strike if we hurt some of the carriers. What was really interesting is as we were waiting, I saw the bombers, the B-17s that were heading out towards the carriers, pass directly over a Japanese strike on Midway. So there was a bunch of dive bombers, there was a bunch of Zero fighters. So it looks like they're throwing everything at Midway, which is really good for us. We've got some fighters going to the enemy carrier in case they have some cap up, but they had a lot of Zeros heading towards Midway, so that was really neat to see. We're still waiting for Enterprise to finish her spotting. Looks like I'm really surprised Yorktown didn't finish first getting all the aircraft ready. Man, this is so cool. I really wish this game had track IR support, because then I could just turn my head and look around like I would in real life, kind of. It's so neat. And I was telling other people in my Discord, if they ever do a volume where they're doing surface naval warfare, actually I think Enigma's Discord, because I sometimes chat over there in the naval channel that they've got. And yeah, I was saying if they ever do the surface action volume, that I would just be so happy sitting in some sort of first-person view like this, just watching the action go on in surface engagements. Just seeing ships on the horizon, just the flashes from them and stuff like that. I really love that. Alright. Waiting for the launch. I think it should be any moment now, because we've turned into the wind, it looks like. Let's speed this up just a smidge. Alright. First one's off. It looks like, I was just reading the communications here, that I think Romeo and Love Leader are the base or the controller and the aircraft running cap out of Midway. So they must be engaging Japanese aircraft right as we're launching ours to attack the carriers that launch those Japanese aircraft. And you just imagine this. This is early access. It just came out into early access on the I think the 27th of January. And we've got the Coral Sea scenarios and a couple of Midway scenarios. This one is the I think the more the historical engagement, and the others. There's just one other one that's playable at the moment where you can have it so perhaps the Japanese didn't attack Midway in the most inopportune moment, and maybe they're not so unlucky. And then how would you fare against 4 or 5 carriers with your 3? So that's a scenario that obviously is a little bit more difficult, but we're just trying the historical one at the moment to get a feel for it. But imagine their Kickstarter backing it was astronomical how many people supported it, and the amounts of money they raised. And because of that, there is in the future going to be static and animated crew members on these vessels. So just imagine the flight deck with people signaling the aircraft to take off, and people on the catwalks and stuff watching, and people up here watching, gunners manning their stations and whatnot. And I think there was also the backing level or the goal where you can man the flak guns and stuff on the ships here. So there's just a lot of stuff coming to the game of its duration and early access. So if you're really interested in it, I highly recommend it. The dev team is super passionate about this historical accuracy in the game, to the point where they've got the actual names of the pilots and the air crews and stuff, which is just a phenomenal level of detail that's being achieved here. Okay, so let's double check Task Force 17. Probably need to go to this view, and let's hop on over there. They're just about ready here on the Enterprise. Is this the Enterprise? Oh, this is the Hornet. That was the Enterprise over there. There we go. Yorktown's ready. Okay, so we'll go ahead and launch for Yorktown. Wow, this is good. So we've got Enterprise and Hornet are going to, or Hornet's going to start launching shortly, I hope. Yorktown is now starting to launch. Let's go take a look at them. Gosh, just the amount of fighters here. Torpedo bombers. Or not torpedo bombers, sorry. Got the Devastator, the torpedo bomber sitting in the back part right here. They're not armed yet. We're not going to use them at the moment. So Yorktown is really nuts, because after Coral Sea she was damaged, and obviously the U.S. was needing every bit of carrier power they had to fight the Japanese at Midway. So she only did 48 hours in Pearl Harbor trying to repair what they said was 3 months worth of damage, which is just amazing. Just to get her back in the fight. And it's absolutely vital. If you ever read Fleet Tactics, if you never read it, go read it. There's a good section there about carrier warfare in World War II. And it really goes into it really breaks down how salvo warfare applies to carrier air power. Because if you think of salvo warfare, it's easier to think of it in terms of guns or missiles or whatever going back and forth. But sometimes it feels a little bit more abstract when you're talking about just planes. And really these waves are the salvos, right? So if we think of missiles and artillery guns and stuff like that, say in sea power, we're talking about missiles specifically, you want to get the most missiles at the target as fast as possible, right? Because you can start damaging stuff, and then they're going to have a harder time defending once they start losing things, and they're also going to have a harder time striking you back. So that's what we're after with this carrier air power, is we want to shut down the flight decks of the Japanese, especially if they have a numerical superiority over us at the moment. It's very important that we stop that, and we reduce the amount of flight deck that they can use, or carriers that they can use, and shutting down the flight deck with bombs is the best way to do it. So that's why I really wanted to get torpedo or dive bombers up first, even if it meant we were not going to maximize our impact with torpedo bombers. just so we can quickly shut down their flight decks. And then once that's secured, and there's a potential there that we would have the numerical superiority. So say if we shut down, if there's 4 carriers out there and we shut down 3 flight decks and they only got 1 that's functional, we're for sure going to win, because at best they can launch 1 strike against our 3. So yeah, if that comes to blows, we will 1 airstrike from 1 carrier will potentially sink one of our carriers, and we've got 2 left to finish those guys off. So that is pretty much how it always will go. If you look at Fleet Tactics and their analysis and stuff of all the carrier battles, that's how it always shakes out. So this is very important that we get this done here. Alright, so I am going to pick this up when they're en route. We don't want to sit here and watch all these planes take off. As beautiful as that is, we want to see some action. So we'll pick this up when they get close to their targets. Alright, it is now 7:16 and our first naval strike is set out to attack some of these Japanese carriers. We see them down there. Fortunately, I think we've got some Japanese fighters around here. I think that's a 0. What is that? Yeah, it's a 0. Got some flak going. We do have some fighters up, so they are hopefully going to slow the zeros down. This is just wave 1. There's another wave of dive bombers coming in. I think they're probably separated by like 15 minutes or something, back aft somewhere over there. Alright, let's take a look down there. So far I see 1 carrier that's, let's do this here, yeah. Got 1 carrier over there, 1 carrier there, 1 carrier there, so that's 3. Oh no, these guys are getting shot up. Oh boy. Yikes, get him, get him. Remember, we just got to get some bombs to shut down the flight deck. We don't necessarily have to sink these ships just yet. If we can shut these flight decks down, it's going to be really detrimental to them, because I don't think their attack has recovered yet from Midway. When we were launching, they were just, I think, finishing up their strikes on the island, so... Oh man, this is rough. Look at the massive planes out there. I just love this game. It's so cool. The neatest thing about this game is that... Oh man, we lost a dive bomber. Is you don't have control of the... Ooh, yes. Oh boy. You don't have control of what's going on. You're telling them when to attack and when to be there. Hopefully, just based off of intel. That could be bad. But these guys know all their tactics that they're supposed to be doing, and because of that, you get emotionally invested in hoping that they make it, and then hoping that they get some hits. Ooh, that looks like some good hits there. It's on fire. That's going to be a miss. Wow. Another good hit there. Wow. Alright. 1 flat top is smoking. These guys are going to try and get the hell out of there. Ooh, another Japanese carrier in the background there has been hit as well. So assuming, what did we say, we found 4 of them. There's 1, there's 2. That one looks like everything missed. Oh, there's still guys diving on that. Ooh. Yeah, there are still planes diving on that carrier in the background. We'll watch it while we're dodging zero fire. Ooh, that carrier is very lucky. So a few more diving down on that carrier. Looks like some close-in misses, but no hits on that one over there. Alright, so we've got 2 carriers here, and we've got 2 carriers on fire over here. So basically it's now 2 versus 3, so I like those odds. Those are pretty good odds here. Now this was just 1 strike. Let's go ahead and double check. Yeah, these guys were the strike that was right behind them. I think with 43 aircraft, so yeah, you can see the burning flat tops over there. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit so we get over into the target area. I'm curious to see what these guys will do now, because they can see that 2 carriers are damaged, and hopefully they're going to see 2 other carriers are not damaged. Okay, looks like they're going towards the undamaged one. This is really good news for us. Yeah, they're coming right over the top of this one. Yes. Oh, man. This view never gets old. Just following these dive bombers down while they do their thing is just so freaking sweet. Oh, it looks like there's an aircraft on deck over there too. I wonder if they're trying to scramble fighters or something. Oh, man. Misses. Misses. Damn. Ooh, got a hit there. That's good. The skies are alive with aircraft right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, the other one got hit too. I think we're starting to see the recovery of some of those Japanese aircraft that attacked Midway. Oh yeah, you can see some of the, I think those are Kates or something down there, just in formation. That carrier is really hurting. Alright, our forces seem to have disengaged with the enemy. Do you wish to stay in the flag plot, or shall we head for a debriefing and combat assessment? Well, I think we're going to continue. Kind of want to see just what happens out here. Alright, so now we've got one more naval strike down. Was it this guy? Yeah. So I believe that these are the aircraft from, I think it was Hornet that launched last. So we've got just one more wave. So you can see how successful those 2 waves were coming from Enterprise and coming from Yorktown. So at the moment, the Japanese can't recover their aircraft from Midway. We'll pick this up once we get these guys over the target, and we'll see what damage they do. Alright, well, right when I went to try and slow down or just skip to the point where Hornet's aircraft were going to be over the target area, the game crashed. So unfortunately, we're not going to see the damage that they would have inflicted on those Japanese carriers that were burning. But I think we won that scenario. We got a cue saying that we've met our strategic objectives. Obviously, we saw that all 4 of those carriers were damaged pretty different ways. So I think one of them burned a little bit and stopped burning, but it did have a hole in its deck. A few of those were burning really heavily, and I'm very confident that Hornet's airstrike would have probably sunk maybe 1 or 2 of those carriers, and if not, at least solidified that they would not be operating any aircraft. Then we would recover Enterprise and Yorktown's aircraft, go ahead and turn them around, and then at this point, hopefully we would have been in close to torpedo bomber range, so we can get these slow carriers at this point, I would assume, if they were pretty damaged, under torpedo fire, and of course another set of dive bomber attacks. Anyways, well, this is sad to see this crash like this, but this game is very fun. You can see how exciting it is when you get aircraft out there quickly and you get them on target, and you get to see the aircraft perform and do the right thing. It was really neat that the dive bomber went after the carriers that weren't damaged, prioritized that, and I didn't have to micromanage anything. And I think this game captures what it's like to have command at sea. You set a plan in motion, and then you just got to wait and see. And that's kind of the part of the burden of command. You know, you are fully responsible for what happens, but what happens is completely out of your control in some cases. You know, obviously you try to train your guys to be as best as possible, do the right thing. You try to set them up for success, but you never know what's going to happen out there. And so I think this worked out really well. Shame we couldn't show what would have happened, but yeah, this is Task Force Admiral. Battle of Midway set of missions is out now, or some of those scenarios. There's some that are still yet to be completed. However, the main one is done, and you can pick this up on Steam, so I highly recommend it. I think this is a really cool take on what it's like to command forces and not have to micromanage, and that's something that I really enjoy. Alright, so if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!